Well, thank you for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi. Let's start with the headlines. UN Deputy Secretary General commends Nigeria's efforts at achieving universal health coverage. Federal government hands over Federal University of Applied Sciences in Kaduna State. Plus, African Union of Broadcasting commits to expanding pool of climate journalists on the continent. The federal government will take over the NAC University Kachia, Kaduna State, and will be transformed as a modern citadel of learning. Vice President Kashim Shettima conveyed President Tinubu's directive at the formal handover of the institution's assets to the federal government by the Economic Financial Crimes Commission at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This event is coming after a federal high court in Abuja has ordered the final forfeiture of the private-owned NOC University to the federal government. The private institution is now named Federal University of Applied Sciences, Kachia, Kaduna State, in fulfillment of a promise made to the people of southern Kaduna. Vice President Kashim Shettima paid tribute to those instrumental in the institution process, especially their commitment to fostering peace and progress in the region, assuring them of immediate commencement of the institution's operations.
I want to assure you all that the President is determined to redefine the meaning and concept of modern governance, and that requires us embracing all tendencies. But this is a win-win situation for all of us. And I want to assure you that the President has already directed the Minister of Education to get this university captured in this year's budget.
Beyond education, Vice President Kashim Shettima reaffirmed the administration's commitment to provide infrastructure development in southern Kaduna, particularly in road construction.
Today we are celebrating this major educational transformation in Kaduna State. Of course, this university is a special university of applied science, just like the Minister of Education has mentioned, but I would like him to speak on the nature of the school. Like I said, it's a special school.
The first set of students should be admitted during this 2025 academic session. I've commissioned a team of senior staff at the Federal Ministry of Education, as well as National University Commission, to go right there immediately to do the verification of the asset that is there. And as you heard the governor has promised to make the certificate of occupancy available to us within the next 7 days.
We've been able to recover this, and we are able to give it back to the people who ordinarily should have been beneficiaries of that process of crime. So our own role is very simple. We recover the assets. We have given it back to the government, who, of course, in turn has given it back to the people for the utmost benefit of the people of southern Kaduna.
Well, for us, education is the major industry in our area, apart from agriculture. And a lot of people are yearning for this kind of opportunity because they qualify for courses into universities. Unfortunately, their opportunities are limited, so they are unable to get into university. So this opens greater opportunities for them.
This has shown repeatedly the love and commitment Mr. President has for Nigerians, because this is a Nigerian product. It's not only for Kaduna State, it's for the entire country, Nigeria, because we believe this institution coming on at this time will enable Nigerians build the capacity of all Nigerians.
Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa and other stakeholders said the establishment of the university is a demonstration of government's dedication towards expanding the nation's human capital and capacity development, as well as an idea that will bring peace to the region. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The maiden edition of the NOIPOL Schools Spelling Bee competition for pupils in public and private schools in the Federal Capital Territory was held, with 3 winners emerging. Now, the initiative, which is aimed at building confidence and public speaking abilities of young minds, drew over 300 participants. Kelvin Ehunwahe will tell us more. Apologies for loss of sound on the sound bites there. President Bola Tinubu has commended the International Finance Corporation for its continued confidence in Nigeria's economy. President Tinubu made the commendation following IFC's $50 million equity investment in the Lagos Free Zone, an initiative to support the development and expansion of Nigeria's first deep-sea port-based private special economic zone. The president described the investment as a testament to the growing trust of global financial institutions in Nigeria's economic direction under his administration. He emphasized that such strategic partnerships reinforce the country's position as a prime destination for foreign direct investment and industrial growth. Nigeria will need to build 3.9 million toilets annually to meet the open defecation-free target by 2030. At a national retreat on the Clean Nigeria Use a Toilet campaign and unveiling of the National Wash developed new information, education and communication materials, while the federal government reaffirms its commitment towards addressing sanitation challenges and improving hygiene practices across the country. Usman Zubairu reports.
This is one of the hotspots of open defecation around Apo area in the Federal Capital Territory. People who defecate here form part of the 48 million Nigerians who practice open defecation. At this stand, only 142 local government areas across 20 states and Jigawa State have been declared open defecation free. This national retreat is aimed at reviewing the progress made so far in the implementation of the Clean Nigeria Use Toilet campaign.
If we recall, 2025 was our date in 2019, and today we are saying that between 2025 and 2030, there must be something remarkable that must be done in 2025.
Build up the toilet businesses, let's build up the NTAs, let's really give it to the local private sector who can make this work.
Declaring the retreat open, Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Yusuf, assured that the federal government will work with key stakeholders to ensure that every Nigerian has access to safe and dignified sanitation. Prof. Yusuf said the unveiling of the developed New Information, Education and Communication (IEC) documents are essential tools to enhance information dissemination across the sector and also ensure that the key message effectively reaches the target audience.
We employ all state government to learn more from their counterparts by taking key action from this retreat and taking the campaign, this critical campaign, to the next level.
The Office of the Vice President is committed to supporting CNC and using its convening power to ensure coordination in the sector, which will bring about an open defecation-free Nigeria by 2030.
For the next 2 days, these participants are expected to come up with a roadmap that will guide the state in Nigeria to end open defecation by the year 2030. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
A look at legislative matters. Senate has effected amendment to some clauses in 2 acts and a bill establishing development commissions for the Northwest, Southeast and Southwest, and a bill to establish National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund. Moving a motion for the amendments, Senate Leader Opeyemi Bamidele explained that clauses which deal with funding for the organs were found to be in contradiction with Section 162 of the Constitution. This, therefore, informs the decision of the Senate to rescind the decision on the clauses.
The Constitution is supreme, and any law that contradicts the Constitution shall be null and void to the extent of the contradiction.
Let me thank the establishment and the committee of the whole for working on these amendments expeditiously in order to bring the various regional development bills in tandem with the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution. particularly Section 162, which clearly states that all funds accruing to the Federation shall be paid into the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation. And therefore, we cannot, through an act of Parliament, amend or delete that aspect of the constitutional provision.
In other news, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations and Chair of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Amina Mohammed, has commended the federal government for its policies and programs towards achieving universal health coverage. This came to the fore during her visit to the Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe.
Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, in company of the hospital management toured the facility. At the newly constructed Institute of Health Sciences, FTH Gombe, Amina Mohammed acknowledged that development. According to her, the visit is to put visibility towards the needs of people assuring that United Nations will assist with more resources to improve healthcare service delivery, education and other areas of human development.
Wish more, support to the state to get things done and for this to be an example of what good looks like. Professor Pate is doing excellently well as a federal minister who is looking at the whole nation from primary health care all the way through to tertiary. So he's a health systems man and we are really grateful for that and for the partnerships that we have. So this visit is about seeing it in its reality, listening to management on some of the issues they have. You need additional hostels, I understand. This in itself means that we have to take care of the people who take care of the people. You know?
Her visit is very, very symbolic because they made decision at the higher level and now she is here now to see it physically, to see it palpable, to see really what they are doing at the higher level. It is being translated down to the grassroots.
The Institute of Health Sciences Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe consists of School of Post-Basic Nursing, School of Nursing ND and HND, School of Dispensing Opticianry, and School of Information Management. Nefisa Umar Garba, NTA News.
The African Union of Broadcasting AUB is committed to scaling the coverage of climate change and disaster risk reduction on the African continent through building the capacity of more journalists, especially in broadcast media organizations across the continent. Speaking on the expected outcomes of the forthcoming second AUB Media Summit on climate change, scheduled to hold from 13 to 14 February 2025 in Dakar, Senegal, Director General of AUB, Georgie Njaka, said empowering journalists in Africa to promote climate action will have far-reaching impact in the drive for solutions. Njaka said climate change is destroying livelihoods, fueling communal conflicts over scarce resources and resulting in a loss of lives. Charles Alpha reports that the Media Summit on Climate Change, which is a product of the Media Saving Lives initiative of the African Union of Broadcasting and the United Nations Office of Disaster Risk Reduction, is poised to advocate for policies that prioritizes climate communication while engaging media executives to dedicate more resources to create safe spaces for climate and disaster reporting.
To make sure that everybody understands what is happening around him. So during this summit, we will train journalists, we will continue training journalists so that they should propose what is useful for mankind.
Hosted by the Senegal Ministry of Environment and the Senegal Radio and Television, will have more than 200 delegates from several countries in Africa and beyond. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. President Donald Trump says the release of former American diplomat Mark Forgay by Russia could mark the start of fresh ties with Moscow and also end the Russia-Ukraine war. Kulo Mohammed will tell us more.
Standing next to released American prisoner Mark Fogel, U.S. President Donald Trump says he hopes Fogel's release by Russia could mark the start of fresh ties with Moscow and end its war with Ukraine. The former American diplomat had been detained in Russia since 2021 for cannabis trafficking, was released by the Russian Ministry of Interior.
We'll tell you a little bit more about it tomorrow, but I think we've made great progress on the war also. I want to get the war ended.
The White House says U.S. President Donald Trump secured the release as part of an exchange without offering further details. This release and exchange happened after a first-known visit by a member of Trump's administration to Russia. In other news, this is the morning after deadly Russian missile strike on the Ukrainian capital Kyiv, killing at least one person and wounding 3. Emergency services and police are combing the site. The city's mayor said the attack caused damage and fires in at least 4 districts of the capital city of Kyiv. Ukrainians react, saying this came immediately after Donald Trump hailed Russian President Vladimir Putin over the release of a long-time prisoner of the U.S. held in Russia. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
The Office of the National Security Advisor has commended validation on preventing and countering violent extremism through effective guidelines and strategic communication plan. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the National Counter-Terrorism Center is coordinating the platform.
Nigeria has for more than 15 years battled terrorism, mostly in parts of the Northeast. For proper coordination and unification to ensure success, the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor, developed enhanced unified roadmap. The policy framework for the prevention and countering violent extremism was launched in August 2017. This platform seeks to domesticate to enhance implementation of the policy. This workshop and validation meeting on preventing and countering violent extremism guidelines and strategic communication is further localizing the framework to facilitate effective implementation.
The validation of the Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism Guidelines and Strategic Communication Plan, we will conduct a thorough review of the draft Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism Guidelines to ensure they align with national priorities, security realities, and international best practices.
Effective implementation requires domestication, ownership, integration within existing government agencies and security structures.
Communication strategies from security, intelligence agencies and relevant stakeholders are in attendance. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Stakeholders in the administration of criminal justice in Nigeria have been enjoined to enhance collaboration towards achieving an effective and efficient delivery of justice in 2025. Attorney General and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, made the appeal at the official launch of the administration of the Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee 2024 Annual Report. Austin Ayimbe reports.
The Administration of Criminal Justice Committee is made up of all government agencies, non-governmental organizations saddled with prosecution of criminal cases. Working with the Federal Ministry of Justice, the committee has continued to review the laws guiding administration of criminal cases, provide guidelines, and help the government in reforms critical to providing Nigerians with access to justice. The 2024 annual report launched by the federal government therefore highlights major achievements recorded in the year under review, while the second document is a 2025 strategic action plan.
The 2024 annual report stands as documentary evidence to the committee's relentless dedication, innovative strategies, and collaborative efforts to improve the criminal justice landscape.
Reacting to the documents, stakeholders commended the federal government's bold step to improving the working conditions of judicial officers and providing clear guidelines for speedy administration of criminal trials.
Your commitment to upholding the rule of law and enhancing the observance of the rights of citizens while in detention is truly commendable More significantly is the committee's focus on Part 30 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act.
We appreciate the vital role you play in ensuring that justice is served.
CSLS has been a huge collaborator with the ACJMC over time, and we have projects that we work with them on. This report is a key indicator that we have made progress and giant strides over time.
The 2025 Strategic Action Plan has a 7-focus agenda geared towards promoting accountability and transparency among criminal justice institutions by regularly reporting on compliance with the National Minimum Standards of Abuja 2015. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
On politics, ahead of the Anambra State governorship election, the Labour Party has vowed to set a standard in the conduct of primary election to prove to the world that it is committed to internal party democracy and voters' supremacy. National chairman of the party, Julius Abure, while addressing some members, said Anambra governorship election will be an opportunity for the party to prove its relevance to the world by winning the governorship election. The chairman, who played host to a governorship aspirant, Dr. George Moghalu, called on the people of Anambra State to learn from the mistakes of the past by ensuring that whoever emerges the candidate is voted into office as the next governor.
We believe that where a candidate emerges from a competitive process, where a candidate emerges from a party that has internal party democracy, that's when you have the best of the best that will be able to deliver not just to the party, but we also deliver to the people.
Hopeful is optimistic that the party has the capacity to deliver in the election and urged the leadership to ensure a transparent primary election.
With Labour, I will win with Labour, and I will represent Labour, so that you can be confident enough to say, this is your candidate. And I will make myself available to go through the due process. And we look forward to receiving your team in Anambra State.
The party primary is expected to hold in April. President Bola Tinubu is celebrating the trailblazing educationist and entrepreneur Dr. Winifred Awosika, OON, on her 85th birthday. The president hails Dr. Awosika's contributions to Nigeria's educational sector for over 5 decades. She shaped the future of countless young Nigerians through her pioneering work as the founder and chairman of Chrisland Schools Limited and the chancellor of Chrisland University. President Tinubu says Dr. Awosika's life has been dedicated to pursuing knowledge, excellence, and nation building. He notes that through her vision, discipline, and commitment to quality education, she has nurtured generations of leaders and professionals who continue to make meaningful contributions to the country. And we're done. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi.